Alrighty, we've got question number 1 here. So question number 1 from the 2014 semester 2 exam. And we've got Kate who sells a single product for Fortune Crystals, and she sells it at the local markets and over the internet. Her estimated data for 2014 is as follows. She's got some annual sales, she's got some selling price, purchase price, annual fixed marketing costs, some variable marketing costs, and some annual fixed administration costs. And what we knew, I recognise this as a break-even question. So what we do is we need to firstly calculate the contribution margin. Now, my formula for contribution margin, my contribution margin equals my selling price minus my variable costs. So what we now need to do is we need to work out what's variable costs, what's selling price, and I know the other thing we need is fixed costs. Alright. So we'll go through, that's obviously my annual sales, so that's a volume. I got my selling price per crystals, which tells me it's my selling price. I got my purchase price per crystal, which is my variable cost. I've got some annual fixed marketing costs. I've got some variable marketing costs, and I've got an annual fixed administration cost. So I've now just classified. One of the first things I always need to do is I need to classify, and so I can work off this. Alright, so the first question, which is A, it says calculate the contribution margin per crystal. Now, as I've already put down there, my contribution margin equals my selling price minus my variable costs. So this equals $30 minus my purchase price, which is a variable cost of 8. And is there any others? Yes, there's one more, minus $3. So my contribution margin equals 8 minus, that's 22, $19. So I've ticked off A. B asked me to calculate the break-even point in units for 2014 and explain what this means. Okay, so there's 2 bits to that question. So I've got the break-even point and an explanation. Okay, so break-even equals my fixed cost divided by my contribution margin. This B. So my fixed costs now are my annual marketing fixed costs of $2,000 plus my annual administration costs of $9,500 divided by my contribution margin, which we've already calculated to be 19. And this equals, I'll get my trusty calculator out, I've got 2,000 plus 9,500 equals, and I'm going to divide that by 19. So I got 605.26. I'm going to round that up to 606. Can't have 0.26 of a crystal, so I'll make it higher. Alright, that ticks off B. Now we get asked the next question. It says, calculate the number of crystals Kate would need to sell to make a profit of $20,000 for the year. So what, explanation, thank you. Why, I forgot this bit. So explain what does break even mean. Break even equals 0 profit. No loss, no profit. There's 2 answers. Third answer would be where sales minus costs equals 0. So there's 1, 2, 3 different answers. You can give me 0 profit, no loss, no profit, where sales minus costs equals 0. Okay? Now we can start on C. Okay, so we're looking at C. Calculate the number of crystals Kate would need to sell to make a profit of 20,000. So desired profits, I call it, equals my fixed cost plus my profits divided by my contribution margin. Now in this case we know what our fixed costs are. We calculated them to be 11,500 plus the $20,000 profit that we want to make. And my contribution margin is $19. So back to my trusty calculator again. And I've got 11,500 plus 20,000 equals, and I'm going to divide that by 19. And I get 1,658. All right, so that's C. Now, D asks, if Kate can buy fortune crystals for less than the current purchase price, will the break-even point increase or decrease? Explain the reasons for your answer. Well, if Kate buys them for less, what happens is my purchase price is going to go down, my contribution margin is going to go up. So I'm making more profit. So if my contribution margin goes up, that must mean I'll have to sell less crystals. So let's explain that in words. D. If variable costs decrease, this increases contribution margin. I'll put CM in brackets. Increase profits. So hence decrease break-even point. Okay, so you just have to explain that you know the mechanics of the break-even. If costs go up, what does that do to my break-even or to my contribution margin? And then what does that do to my break-even point? Okay. All right. And then E, crystal sales have been steadily increasing and Kate expects this trend to continue. If she was thinking of employing someone to run her online operations but is unsure as to whether to employ someone on a weekly salary or according to the number of crystals sold, so a commission, over the internet each week, explain using the concept of fixed costs, variable costs and operating leverage which of these payment options would be better for Kate's business in the current conditions. Okay, what we would look at is for Kate, if her sales are increasing, so it'd be better to employ someone on a salary, which is what fixed costs are. So my fixed cost. Hang on, now I've forgotten what I've got to say there. Okay, so by employing someone on a salary or fixed cost, costs remain the same. As sales increase. So by increasing our fixed costs rather than our variable costs, it means that we don't chew into our contribution margin. And that ticks off all that.